Yo, what's going on guys, my name is FaZe, welcome back to another video, and there's a few things I want to get into before we get into this video. Firstly, my background is now blurred, that is thanks to NVIDIA Broadcast. Also, hopefully my microphone sounds a little better, and it'll sound a little bit more natural, because before RTX Voice was in beta, now this is a full release of it. I personally have noticed a bit of a difference, making it seem a little bit less artificial, so hope you guys enjoy that. But without further ado, let's get on to today's video. So today, what we're doing is we're going to be going over the top 5 maps in the Black Ops Cold War Alpha. Now, the Alpha ended almost 5 days ago now, and I've still got a few videos to make on it. Probably maybe 2 or 3 videos to make. But I'm running out of gameplay very slowly, so hopefully we can still get some gameplay. Today, we're going to be going down the top 5 maps, and just a quick disclaimer, the 2 maps in the 12v12 mode being Crossroads and Armada, I did not play nearly as much as I did the 6v6 maps. I think I only played each of them once or twice, so I can't really give proper descriptions and sort of detailed analysis on those maps quite as much because I haven't played them as much. But nevertheless, we will be ranking the maps based on how much I enjoyed playing them, what their layout's like, how they look visually, what sort of, how big they are, that sort of thing. We're going to be going around all those sort of things. It should be absolutely incredible. Without further ado, let's get into number 5. Coming in at number 5, we've got one of our 12v12 maps, and that is Crossroads. Now, the one thing I can say about this map that really kind of sums it up is it's just kind of boring and forgettable. It's a big open map on a frozen lake, which is, it sounds like a pretty cool concept, but when you actually play the game, you realize it's actually quite boring. There's nothing particularly exciting about the map. There's a couple tanks and stuff that are quite cool, and jet skis are always cool, and there's a few buildings and stuff as well about, but overall it's quite hard to find people. You find yourself dying to tanks a lot, and they're quite meta, and the only real combat you do have is on the odd occasion you manage to get all the way across the map to a building. It's just not great. Even to get to a building, most of the time you'll be spawning at the back of the map. You'll have to run halfway across the map to get to one, and by which time you've probably already been run over or killed by a tank. So personally, it's just not really the right map for me. It just seems a bit repetitive and a bit boring, and there's nothing really going for it. Now for number 4, we have Armada. In my opinion, the better of the two 12v12 maps, but still not a particularly incredible map. Now don't get me wrong, I do love all the maps, and from a visual standpoint, they all look really great. But in my opinion, these are the 2 worst maps of the alpha. I would also say it's partly down to the fact that I didn't really enjoy the 12v12 map nearly as much. The 12v12 game mode, should I say, nearly as much as the standard 6v6. But in terms of Armada, I do think it's a very cool idea having a map in the middle of the ocean. And I do love the boats. I think that's a really cool addition, but it's kind of similarly to Crossroads, it just doesn't have that same kind of action. It's 12v12, it should be really hectic, but it's just not. It's not very hectic, you're not finding people too often, and if you do find someone, it's probably a sniper that's just taking your head off, because it is quite sniper dominant. And the odd occasion you do get inside and find someone, they're rocking an AK-74U, let's be honest. So again, there's not really much else I can say about this map. It's a cool idea, but I just don't think it's quite got what they were going for. Unless you're playing some very rush-heavy players, it's not going to have all the action that you maybe wanted when dropping in some 12v12. Okay, so we're finally getting into our 3 6v6 maps, and I can say a lot more about these because I prefer them a lot more, and I played them a lot more, so I'm going to have a lot more information about these. But without further ado, let's get into number 3. Satellite. Now, I had a real it took me a while to order these 3 because every con and pro I found to be each map, I was like, I think I changed this top 3. My bottom 2 I knew just straight up, but this top 3 I think I changed maybe 3 or 4 times. But I've gone for Satellite because similarly to the bottom 2, it's a bit kind of forgettable. Now, it's definitely not as forgettable as something like Crossroads, but it's just kind of basic. But let's get into some of my notes here. So in terms of the size of the maps, which is probably one of the problems a lot of people are complaining about, it's actually a perfect size because it's a very open map. So you're going to be finding people a lot easier. So its larger size is actually perfect. I think they've absolutely nailed that. And I did consider putting this higher on my list, but I actually took it back just because from a visual standpoint, it does look good, but it is quite boring. It's not too exciting. It's mostly sand. There's a few caves about. and there's a big satellite dish in the middle. One thing I really do like about this map is on one side you've got your close combat kind of SMGs dominating, and on the other side you've got your kind of long range ARs, LMGs, you know, snipers on the other side. So I do really like that. And I'm not actually going to talk about the snipers in this map because they are getting nerfed. We do know that. You do find yourself getting sniped a lot if you go on that side of the map, but that shouldn't be as much of a problem in the beta or full release. Coming in for our number 2 map, just shy of number 1, is Miami. Now, a lot of people have been complaining about this map, and I would have to agree with a lot of the complaints that are being made. But actually, when I first came onto this game and had my first few games on the different maps, I actually was convinced that this was my favorite map, and I'll get to why in a minute. Firstly, this map is way too big. I think most people would agree with that. Now, obviously, this isn't going to change because we are so close to the release of the game. This is not going to change at all. But it's so hard to find people on this map because not only is it just a vast area, but there's so many buildings and places to hide. It's just really not easy to find people because there's the main building at the back, there's the buildings on the side, you've got the little beach area on the side, which I do really like the beach. I don't know why, there's something about it. It looks great and it's good combat. There's a nice long range line of sight there where snipers can hang out. Long range ARs kind of dominate. And I do like that side of the map, and I do overall like the map, and visually it looks beautiful. It is an incredible map. I love the lighting, just the overall look, the graphics are incredible. And on the PS5 especially with 4K, that is going to look incredible. But there's also a lot of head glitches. There's quite a few kind of windows where snipers can hang out. Overall, I do really like the layout of the map. It's pretty much a classic 3-lane, but with a bit of a twist. Is maybe a bit more complex than a classic 3-lane. But they have kind of gone to that. They've kind of mixed something like Modern Warfare with classic 3-lane systems, and it has kind of worked. And if I'm being honest, I think if this map was scaled down a little bit, this could be one of my favorite maps in any COD, and I genuinely mean that. Visually, it looks incredible and it has potential to be an amazing map. Now, obviously, like I said with the last one, this map isn't going to change. It's not going to get smaller, and it's not. They're not going to change the playstyle. But if they were to maybe add a map similar to this and make it smaller, it would be almost perfect. But I do still like this map. It's fun to play. It looks incredible, and I don't know. I just like the feel of this. And coming in at number 1, you all know what it is, it's Moscow. Firstly, visually, this is a very vibrant map. It's a nice, simple, clean look, and it does look very nice. The layout's really nice. Again, 3-lane system, bit more complex maybe, but it's still a very nice map. It is, like I said, quite complicated. There's quite a lot of camping spots, but overall, it is a very nice layout. One thing I will say is the left and right hand side compared to the middle, there's almost no action on the left and right. Basically, everything is going to be going down the middle, so obviously you expect more things to be happening in the middle, but almost nothing happens on the outsides. Obviously, like I said, the maps aren't going to change. That probably won't change, but just something to know. And it just feels like a very balanced map. There's long range sights, there's close quarters, there's slightly, you know, there's mids, you know, it's really balanced. All guns are going to be good in certain scenarios on this map, and there's not really a meta. But the one thing I will say is, at first, I didn't actually like this map at all. I thought it was too complicated. I thought it was too big because it felt too big. When you don't know a map, it feels huge, right? But when you start to learn the map, and this one was a bit harder to learn, I'm not going to lie. When I learned this, I realized that it was actually a really good layout. It was nice. It looked great. It was a really, really good size. It just felt like a really overall good map, and that's kind of all I can say about this map. It's just overall feels really good. It's balanced, looks good. It has everything you want, ticks all the boxes. So that is why Moscow is my favorite map in the alpha. Hopefully, I think if there was one thing I would like to see, it's a few small maps to be added to the game. Something like Nuketown, I'm pretty sure we know is coming. I'm pretty sure Firing Range is getting remastered and added. So those kind of maps I think will play very well in this game. Because although it has a slightly slower playstyle to Modern Warfare, it's still relatively fast-paced. And obviously, these maps aren't going to change at all. If anything does change, it'll be extremely minor and not affect any of these problems at all. But overall, I think these are good maps, and visually they all look fantastic, and I think this game has so much potential to be incredible. I'm still very hopeful that this could be an amazing COD game, and I love the alpha. But that's all from me. If you have enjoyed, please don't forget to smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe also if you are new around here. But that's been all from me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.